Hey everybody, we are back, the Hurricane HQ, for our official 11:30 a.m. tropical update for August 21st, 2020. And sorry I couldn't get a second video in yesterday. I was doing a lot of stuff, so didn't have any time.
Hey everybody, we are back, the Hurricane HQ.
1 second. So here is our current forecast cone as of the 11 a.m. tropical update from National Hurricane Center. And you can see we're starting to get those tropical storm warnings, which are being issued for Puerto Rico and some of the Western Antilles in this area. It looks like all the way from northern Dominican Republic to even the very southern Bahamas, those islands over there, you're under a tropical storm watch. And it is forecasted to become a hurricane. And today's comment again is, from us. I would just like to let everyone know that our website is now optimized for smartphone. Although right now it's not updated. Right after this live update, I have to update all the graphics. Although it'll probably all be updated at the end of the video, so you could probably check that out later today. I would say by 12:30, all the graphics will be updated. And I would also like to say that you guys, you gotta start commenting more. It doesn't matter on the live stream or anything. Make sure it's just related to the video, and you can get featured on our videos. And this is from yesterday. This is actually my new setup. It's a slight improvement from what it was, and now I have a second monitor here, so I can run different tabs here and hopefully get a slightly better video for you guys. And here's our current Atlantic Basin image as of 11 a.m. today. And right now we're seeing our Tropical Storm Laura right here. And we are seeing our Tropical Depression 14 over here. And we are seeing our area to watch over here, which has not been categorized as an invest yet. And here's our average forecast tracks for August. And these tropical waves, what they do is they come out of Africa and actually either move into the Gulf this way, similar to what Tropical Depression 14 is doing, or they could go this way, kind of either south of Florida, or this way, kind of like our Tropical Storm Laura is going to do. And it's actually forecasted to hit the Florida Panhandle and even Louisiana as a hurricane, Category 1. And possibly these two hurricanes could actually intersect. And with that, what happens when that is, it really does depend on the strength of the system. Although if one is a lot stronger than the other, which they're most likely not going to be, then it'll actually the other system will fuel it up, and one of them will gain more strength. And if they're around the same strength, they're most likely just going to cancel each other out. Although most likely, if they do hit each other, they would probably be over land, and they would probably already be decreasing in strength. So I wouldn't be too concerned about that. And here is Tropical Storm Laura. And first we're going to take a look at the NOAA forecasts. And right here is Tropical Storm Laura. And here's our current warnings cone. And right now it's showing that tropical storm wind extending quite far out. So this could definitely have some impacts as it passes over these islands over here and even Puerto Rico. So these tropical storm warnings are issued. Then up here, again, we have our tropical storm watches, and parts of the Bahamas too. You're under that tropical storm watch. Even though the cone isn't going to pass over, tropical storm conditions are possible. And that's definitely something to watch. And the forecast shows in the next 5 days, possibly even a hurricane to hit. And it looks like it's going to make landfall, direct hit at Alabama, that very southern or southwest area here. This is most likely where it's mostly going to hit. Although Florida Panhandle, Louisiana, Mississippi, definitely some impacts, definitely a lot of them. And then we have our other system right over here, which I'm about to show you. Tropical Depression 14 right now is also moving in this area, and the cones are quite close together. They actually are overlapping some areas. And we're even seeing some hurricane watches issued for Mexico, because the possibility of it developing to a hurricane is there. So they have those hurricane watches, and the tropical storm watch is issued for the very northern part over here. We also have a few tropical storm watches over here for these islands. I'm not totally sure what country that is, although if you're at that islands, you're under a tropical storm watch. And we're most likely going to see it become a hurricane by 8 a.m. Monday. And this one actually does show it hitting Texas now as a tropical storm. Although this can definitely change. It could hit it as a Cat 1 or a weak Category 1 hurricane. I wouldn't be surprised if it does. This is definitely going to be a strong tropical storm, if not a Cat 1. And they're going to be very close, these two cones. So it looks like these tropical storm force winds are going to be reaching all the way out past New Orleans, and it looks like this entire area will be covered in tropical storm force winds over the next few days. And let's see, this cone is up to there, and alright, so it's just about confirmed that they are overlapping, these two systems. So they are officially overlapping. Now I'd like to take a look at our tropical tidbits forecast, and now we're going to start with Tropical Storm Laura. And Tropical Storm Laura, we already see the code, but here's our European model / global model, and you can see most of these models do show it having a landfall in Alabama area. One of them does show it go out into the east, and that would not be good either. Although I believe it's mostly going to hit this area, and actually it might get quite far into the U.S., probably even up to Tennessee area. So definitely something to watch. Although the GFS does show a lot different. It shows it more. It does show it hitting in the same area, although it does show it actually continuing with its strength all the way south of Delaware area. And it stays relatively strong as it moves out. Possibly some impacts for this area, maybe Jersey, Delaware, just nothing too severe. And here's our CMC, or Canadian model. And we can see that this model, the average of them shows it actually heading along the east coast, but on land. And it doesn't really show it getting that strong. Although this could definitely have impacts and kind of be similar to Isaias if it did follow this track. And here's our intensity guidance model, and now, like, just about every single one keeps it in tropical storm status. A few models show weakening and then regaining strength. That's definitely possible, but looks like most of these models actually take it into tropical storm. Some of them, actually, I would say 50 to 60% of them take it to Category 1 hurricane status, and that is definitely possible as it hits the Florida Panhandle and Alabama area, and 2 of them take it into Category 4, which is a little bit unlikely, although I'm not going to fully get rid of the possibility, since it's not just one crazy model, there is actually 2 models, so it's definitely a possibility if there's more than one showing that. And here is our current infrared image of the system. Hopefully this long wave IR 2-kilometer image actually works, which is kind of unlikely. It does look like it. Alright, well, let's see if we can just get to play. Well, it's alright. We can try refreshing one more time, and then we'll. So you can mostly see a slight buildup of an eye around here. So, alright, we finally have it. So you can see a slight buildup of an eye right there. So it's definitely slightly gaining strength, and it's mostly going to pass over these islands over here, and it's actually approaching Puerto Rico, which is it's approaching. So it's definitely on its way. right now. And now I'd like to take a look at Tropical Depression 14. And right now, most of these spaghetti models are actually showing us survive and actually head right up through Louisiana and Texas and mostly just die off when you get to like the mid-US area. The GFS doesn't show it getting that strong. It shows it mostly weak. Some of these models, or most of them, don't even have it getting under 1,000 millibars in pressure. And the Canadian model, it's again a mess, although it's still possible. And I guess anywhere in the Gulf it possibly could hit, but I think a U.S. impact is almost guaranteed with this system. And speaking of intensity guidance, a very low chance that it'll get to Cat 1, although this definitely can change, and I think like 3 or 4 or possibly even 5 of these models do hit it. Category 1, and I don't think it's unlikely, because a lot of these actually showed getting in the upper regions of this tropical storm, and just any change in the water temperature and the speed of the storm and how fast it develops can definitely change that. And possibly we could see a hurricane. And here's our infrared plus image, which is long wave IR, which is also 2 kilometers. And let's just try refreshing. Hopefully this works. I'll give it one more chance. I guess Tropical Tidbits is not working that well, but you could definitely see a bit of an eye. And that's all we see. It's getting more organized and most likely going to become a tropical storm in the next few days. And I completely exited out of Tropical Tidbit. Sorry about that. And now I'd like to show everybody one more thing. It's Tropical Storm Gingevieve right now. And here's the official NOAA forecast cone. And it shows it weakening to a tropical depression just today. Probably before 8 p.m. today. And most likely just staying as a depression all the way up to here. And it actually slightly shifts towards California. So possibly some impacts there. Definitely something to watch. And a lot of these models for the global / European show it heading right into California and the San Francisco area. So this is definitely something to watch for them. Although I wouldn't expect too much impacts. Possibly some storm surge. And I'm not totally sure how susceptible they are to storm surge and flooding around the coast. Although I can't say it's 0. And there's actually a lot of agreement over here, not only where it's going to head, but exactly what the pressure is going to be. And you can see right here, it's just about has to be around 1,000 to 990 millibars, and here 1,000 to 1,005 millibars. It's very organized, this model, in that area, and the Canadian model is always going to be a mess, and it's less organized with where the pressure is going to be. Although you can see mostly this is going to be that same 1,000 to 990 millibar, and here in the green, which is that 1,005 to 1,000 millibar pressure. And here's here's our intensity guidance model, and all of these models show it leaving tropical storm status most likely today. And all these models do show it getting quite weak, although a few of them do see it strengthening again near tropical storm status, so possibly a tropical storm as it hits California, although I think that's like the max we can get, a very weak tropical storm. And I don't expect anything really from this system. Looks like here is our long wave IR 2 kilometer, and let's see if this would work. Alright, well, let's just see if we can get this to load. Alright, so this is just as good as we can get for now. you could definitely see some eye build up here. And you could still see an eye, so it's not completely dead yet. Although it's most likely going to die off in the next few days. And here's our current windy forecast. First, we're going to take a look at this system here. And right here, whoops. Sorry about that, everybody. Right here, you can see that these wind speeds are not heading over 40 miles per hour. And that means it is very weak tropical storm. We're seeing like 30 to 40 miles per hour, and that is really weak. And most likely nothing over 40, possibly 41 in wind speeds. And this thing is weakening, and over the next few days, like just 10 p.m. today, we see it way into tropical depression status. And I believe this is the ECMWF model, and it shows the system mostly dying off. I'm not totally sure. Let's see. I believe it's just... This model does show it hitting California as like nothing. Barely any increase in wind speed. Alright, this one actually shows it making landfall, although not even as a tropical storm at all. We can see some decent organization, though. You can't deny that. So it still does have that eye, and here's the GFS model. It shows it slightly stronger, although still weak tropical storm. Although the GFS, let's see, does show it, I think, making landfall again on California. Same with the NAM model. Now we can actually see that it's just going to disappear out to sea. Our wind speed forecast, our wind gusts, for the ECMWF really do show it quite small wind gusts of just up to 63 miles per hour with low impacts, possibly wind speeds up to 26 miles per hour around here. Nothing too high. And I don't think anything severe or any impacts like that are possible. And here's our visible satellite, which I usually don't do, but you could definitely see a bit of an eye. You can't deny that. And we definitely see some circulation. Definitely, you can still see that eye. It's not as organized as it was, the system, although it still has some of that organization with it. I've seen a lot of not as organized tropical storms. So this one's decently organized, and I'd actually like to take a look at our current tropical storm, which is Laura. And right now, you could definitely see some circulation here. Not as organized, but the wind gusts probably up to 50 miles per hour with winds up to... this one's not even showing tropical storm yet, although close. So right now, I'm not totally sure. Although we're seeing some decent rain accumulation around here. And probably up to around 3.44 inches. And over here are tropical depression 14s, not really showing much wind speeds, nor is this area, which you can barely even see. And 1 second. If anyone has any questions, you can leave it down in the comment section, or I believe this is the live chat, so you can check that. And I guess I would like to show one more model. So here's our atmospheric moisture. And this actually could be causing this system 14 to not be a hurricane as it hits Texas, because there's a little bit of drier air around here. As this other system actually moves in, there's a little bit of wetter air around here, and this probably should help it. And then I think it will become a hurricane and will actually hit as a Cat 1. Although I have a lot of doubts with this system. And it's not only passing over this Mexican area, parts of Mexico, and this drier air. There's also the drier air over Mexico, which is also not really helping it at all. Although forecasts do show it actually getting to a hurricane still, just not really sustaining that as it passes over that area of dry air around here, and you can kind of see that in the forecast cone. You can see it actually becomes Hurricane Cat 1, and right here is where that drier air starts, and that's where it can't really maintain its current strength, and it weakens to tropical storm. Although other than that, I'm not totally sure. And now I would like to show you guys one more thing. I would like to show you guys the intensity of the ECMWF model. And the ECMWF does show this system, 14, actually enhancing to a little bit more of a tropical storm. And then just weakening as it hits around Houston area. Well, this model doesn't even show this system right here even making any impact, although the GFS says different, I believe. Whoops. I'd like to show one more thing, forecast models. And I would like to show this area. Alright. Didn't mean to use that. Alright, here we go. So I'd like to, as you can see right here is our area of low pressure, and I completely lost it. So right here is our area of low pressure. It looks like Laura. And Laura does show like it's actually weakening around here. As I believe this is the GFS model shows it weakening a bit. Although this area does maintain strength into the Gulf. Let's take a look at the CMC for Laura. Okay, this is what I was looking for. And let's just start where it is now, right here. Looks a little bit weak. And it shows it mostly gaining a bit strength, getting a little bit more organized. You can definitely see those inner and outer circles there. That shows it's actually getting more organized. Passes south to Florida, gets a little bit stronger, possibly a Category 1 hurricane at, I believe that's 978 millibars pressure. And hitting the Florida Panhandle as most likely a Category 1. And over here looks like there's a lot of rain. And it actually shows it maintaining its strength for a little while now. Until it gets... I'm not totally sure what this is. Alright, so it looks like it's actually going to pass right over the northeast and exit actually over Maine is what the CMC is showing. While we can look at the GFS again for Laura. The GFS starts out here where it is now and actually hits Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic area, and I'm not totally sure what's going on here. The GFS actually doesn't show it as strong as it hits. It only shows around 1,010 millibars, which is actually quite weak. And shows it basically turning into nothing as it exits through, I'm not totally sure where this is. It almost looks like North Carolina. Not 100% sure. Well, everybody, I guess I'm going to end this video here. I don't want to make these videos too long. Although, make sure... Oh, also, if you have any questions, you can leave them now. I can answer them. Alright. Well, if no one has any questions, then I guess I can answer them in the comments after this video. And I guess I'll see everybody in the next one. Make sure you subscribe, ring that bell, and if you live anywhere in the Gulf or in Florida, anywhere, even Mexico, Puerto Rico area, Dominican Republic, make sure you stay safe. during this quite active hurricane season. And have you leave in the comments, do you think either of these storms will reach Category 1 status? Let me know in the comments, and I'll pick one for our next video. And yeah, thanks for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.